Hello, everyone. My name is Joseph Everest. I'm a DSC lead at Institute of Accountancy Arusha. And today's talk will be this is the final talk, I think. It will be on developer communities and ecosystems. So, first, what is a community? A community is basically a group of people with a common goal in mind. So, can be a developer community can be a group of people, actually a group of developers with a common goal. Let's say students, that means a group of developers that are aimed to learn, a group of developers that are aimed to solve a STEM problem. So that's basically what a developer community is. A good quote about a community I found from Coretta Scott King: "The greatness of a community is most accurately measured by compassionate actions of its members." What does this actually mean? It basically breaks down to a community is only good as the general idea being put together. So if, let's say, Developer Students Club, it's a community that is aimed to help students learn. So the goal for Developer Students Club is to help students actually learn and build technologies. And for GDG, the goal is to bring developers to network and share skills and knowledge. For communities like the Google Developer Experts, they are to help other people learn and develop. So here's some of Google Developer communities. There's the Google Developer Groups, GDG, organizing DevFest right now. So you're attending DevFest. This is organized by GDG. There's Google Developer Experts. The Google Developer Experts is a Google program for experts in specific Google technologies. So you can be an expert in, let's say, cloud, an expert in machine learning, can be an expert in Flutter, can be an expert in Firebase. In that case, you'll be a good developer expert. You'll join the experts program. And then there's the Developer Students Club. The Developer Students Club is a Google community for university students aimed at learning and sharing knowledge on Google technologies. Then there is Women Tech Makers. This is to provide inclusivity to women in the development environment. Then there's the Google Startup Accelerator. This is a program to help startups. It's actually it's a lengthy program to help startups learn, to help startups build their products and launch them to the world. To know more about Google developer communities, you can go to developers.google.com/community. This is where you're going to find all the information on Google developer communities. The Google developer communities in this country, there is the GDG Dar es Salaam, GDG Kagera, GDG Dodoma. Then there's the Developer Students Club IAA, which I'm the lead. Then there's Developer Students Club University of Dar es Salaam and the Arusha Technical College Developer Students Club. These right here are the logos. The first logo up top is the logos for for experts and GDG and DSC, and the one at the bottom is for Women Tech Makers. If you see any of these logos somewhere, you'll know they represent a Google developer community. As let's say, if you look at the tab up top on right now when you're watching this video, you're watching this live stream. If you look at the tab up top, you'll see this logo. And when you look at the window on the top left corner, you'll also see this logo with the words GDG that's proceeded. So this is a logo for Google developer communities. So developer ecosystems. An ecosystem basically is a collection of people, resources, and technology. People, resources, technologies, and basically other shareholders towards a certain goal or market. So what makes an ecosystem? One, people. We already talked about this as the community. That means they still need a goal, and there's still a goal that binds them together. And two, platforms. That means, or you can use WhatsApp as a platform. The platform is basically the meeting place for the community. How they interact with each other, how they learn from each other, how they grow from each other, how do they cooperate and collaborate. These are the platforms. Platforms can be GitHub, platforms can be WhatsApp, can be Slack channels or Discord servers, depends on the community itself. But the platform doesn't really matter. It's more of the community and where they choose to meet and what they're comfortable with. Next is a shared market. I wrote shared market because I already talked about a community usually has a goal in hand, but a shared market is basically a collection of shared experiences that a community can have. A community can have that maybe a problem they have to solve. So let's say we want to build a fintech app to help ease transactions. So that's our shared market or shared experience. So we all have a problem in this area and want to use technology to solve it. So the ecosystem is all of these things brought together. The market part of the ecosystem is basically the market part of the ecosystem is basically the experiences that are shared by the ecosystem and that actually push them towards solving a certain problem. Some notable efforts in community development in developer communities in Tanzania, let's say in general, there is OpenPesa. Actually, let me cast my entire browser so I can show you this. Stop sharing. So the first one is OpenPesa. OpenPesa is a community of developers in Tanzania that took the Open M-Pesa API that was released a couple months ago, and they decided to make libraries and APIs for other developers to build on top of if they want to implement these payment features by M-Pesa. And their goal is to also implement when I think Tigo already released the public API. So the goal is to, as these companies keep releasing the open APIs, they collaborate to make the APIs accessible to every developer. So like OpenPesa is for Tanzania, like right here. They're available on Twitter at OpenPesa. Then you can collaborate and write code for them. So they actually, how many collaborators does this project have? It has 5 branches, 3 tags. Actually, doesn't really matter how many collaborators this project has, but 47 commits, and the latest commit was 3 days ago. It's been going on for a while, last month, 20 days, 25 days, 23 days. So they've been collaborating together to build, to help other developers have it easier to integrate M-Pesa APIs into their projects. Other people with notable efforts are Yesaya Software with the Yesaya Software podcast and that YouTube channel. Yesaya, actually, I have to turn on my VPN. Just a second. And let me refresh this page. It's taking too long. So Yesaya, this guy, he's an individual. He's been interviewing developers in his podcast, influential people who have actually gotten somewhere, and he's actually one of the organizers of DevFest this year. So what he does, he is trying to build a community of developers by trying to help people interact and learn through his YouTube channel and through his podcast. And other efforts in the Build Africa movement, I think this was by Nala. They want to simplify people sending money from Europe to Africa. So they have a Build Africa movement. They interview people. They interview like successful companies and founders, and they use that they use their publicity as a platform to help other people start and learn and innovate. This wouldn't actually be a talk by me without actually giving myself a shout out. And I'm a DSC so I have to put Developer Students Club here. DSC in general, it's aimed at university students to help, not necessarily university students specifically, just if they can join the community and attend the sessions at the institution, they are welcome. So the Developer Students Club is aimed at helping younger developers learn and develop these and develop skills in these technologies. And the Google developer groups, I think this we're more familiar with because they are more in charge of the Google developer groups are more in charge of DevFest and other other conferences that actually include a lot of developers. So I think that's all for my talk. Thank you for listening and thank you for attending DevFest. And you can find me at Joe Everest165 on Twitter. I think that's all. Any questions? I don't see any questions. So I think that's it.